We arrived on Ganymede as the struggle for the Fury technology began in earnest. We felt left out. We were assigned recon and scrap collection duties. There were a lot of discontents on Ganymede, and for 2 weeks our morale and discipline dropped further and faster every day. But then we lost the 4th platoon. They were out on routine scrap duty and simply disappeared. We hadn't heard from them for at least 48 hours. Command ordered a search party. We were all anxious to find out what happened to our friends. But on the other hand, on the deeper level, we didn't really want to know.
These are your orders, Lieutenant. Build your base and send out a reconnaissance patrol. Command wants to know what's happened to the units that were out here yesterday. They suspect Russian involvement. What the hell? Where did they come from? Get back and defend that recycler, Lieutenant.
After the surprise attack from the Chinese forces, morale was at its lowest. If this new enemy could hide itself so thoroughly, how could we defend ourselves? But to their credit, Command pushed us on. We might have complained at the time, but in hindsight, we never would have made it without him. The mission to find the Chinese headquarters was unpopular, to say the least, but we went ahead regardless. We had no idea how much worse things were going to get.
No scrap on radar!
We've confirmed the unknown vehicles that you encountered are Chinese. They're able to travel undetected using some unknown technology. We guess it's derived from more relics. Establish a base as quickly as possible. We have no idea where they may come from next. Where did they come from? Lieutenant, we're seeing multiple Chinese units to the southeast and southwest.
We can't hold them off much longer, Commander.
Lieutenant, get out of there now. Saving your recycler is your #1 priority, but get out now. Rendezvous at Nav Beacon Alpha. Lieutenant, I need backup here. Lieutenant, the desert fires occurred. Leave it, Lieutenant. Save yourself.
If morale was low after the first Chinese attacks, it was non-existent after the attack on the headquarters. All over Ganymede, the Chinese had chosen that moment to launch heavy assaults on our units. We were in total chaos. A few more casualties and Commander Harris would have had no option but to surrender. It was pure luck that we managed to regroup, but luck was all we had left.
This is an order to all units copying my transmission. Rendezvous at Nav Beacon Delta and await further orders. Stay sharp and beware of further attacks. Harris out.
Roger that, Command. My unit is about 1 click north of there. We need urgent backup. Anyone copying this, rendezvous at Nav Delta. Repeat, rendezvous at Nav Delta.
Our new Red Devil unit was proving useful against the invisible Chinese. But we weren't much better off than before. The boys started seeing the Chinese as being cowardly, and morale began to pick up as we banded together. We began to see ourselves as outgunned fighters, struggling desperately against an oppressive foe. As our spirits began to lift, Command saw the ideal time to launch a major strike against the Chinese. But they didn't see how things were going to work out. Command had no idea how far we could go, how far we could push ourselves, because of one thing: hope.
This is Captain Swallow. The Chinese are jamming our satellite positioning systems, so we're going to have to place our nav beacons by hand for this bombing raid. You and I are to place beacons around the crater at regular intervals, then to wait further instructions. Captain Swallow out.
What was that? We see it, Lieutenant. Abandon your current mission, commandeer one of those scavengers, and take a closer look.
The discovery of the Pegasus device had furnished us with a prize to be won from the Chinese. Morale climbed higher as we saw a goal ahead of us, rather than a Chinese prison. The fluke destruction of the Chinese recycler gave us an opening. We could strike deep at the heart of the Chinese base without fear of major reinforcements arriving. But we only had a little bit of time left. We struck hard and decisively at the first chance we had.
Looks like we've hit the right place, Lieutenant. The Chinese are in total disarray. Your orders are to build up a strike force and attack the Chinese base. Good luck. I'm reading strong electromagnetic pulses from the portal, Lieutenant. Best keep away. There's no telling what might be coming.
Wait a minute. Nothing's coming through. They're retreating. Congratulations, Lieutenant. I think you may have just gained the upper hand for us. Seems to me we'll be following them as soon as we have control of the Pegasus.
Our morale was at a peak. We had forced the Chinese into retreat. Again, we had an invaluable window of opportunity. This time to take control of a new alien relic, which would swing the entire war in our favor. Against the CCA, too. We decided to seize the portal from the Chinese and follow them to whatever lay on the other side.
I don't have to remind you how crucial this mission is, Lieutenant. If we don't get control of that portal, we have no way of knowing what the Chinese are up to, and we'll have no way of following them and destroying them. Wait for the signal that the diversion has begun and launch your assault on the portal. Harris out.
Delta 3 is go, Command. I say again, Delta 3 is go.
Red Devil here. Protecting unit.
We're in, sir. We're starting the reprogramming now. ETA 1 minute.
No scrap on radar.
Lieutenant, do you copy? Yeah, loud and clear, HQ. There's a Chinese base nearby. We recommend you keep a low profile for the time being.
Back on Ganymede with a minimal Chinese presence, they had enjoyed a short period of R&R. Then all hell broke loose as the Chinese launched a lightning-swift attack on our base camp on Elysium. A lot of good American men died in that attack, but most of us were able to reach the portal in time. It surprised Command, to say the least. Elysium Outpost 1 had gone from a stable field HQ to a smoking ruin within an hour and a half. And the badly damaged men and units who came tumbling out of the portal on Ganymede didn't have an opportunity to alert Command of the situation. They decided to use more subtle tactics. We decided to sit back and wait for the Chinese to take the bait.
No scrap
Your main
on radar.
priority is to contain anything emerging from the portal. Command believes that the Chinese will send engineers through to reprogram the portal. You must not obstruct any such mission. Once they've done their job, you are to take control of their vehicle and take it through the portal.
The Chinese took the bait. We had a direct route to the heart of their base on Elysium. One of us had to go through and take a Chinese tank. The mission would be dangerous beyond belief. Walking alone with no support, a lone capitalist on a planet of communists. Once we had a Chinese tank under our control, we could use the technology built into it to smuggle our troops anywhere we liked.
NPC Alpha, you You may unload. Squad Bravo, proceed to Beacon 3 Delta.
Damn! That's not the path we were expecting! Commander Harris says get to the portal now, sir.
We thought we had a ticket to glory in our cloaking field, which Command used to infiltrate us into the dead center of the Chinese base. We were surrounded by their main production facilities. The destruction of these facilities would allow us to move in and take over the Chinese base. Or so we thought. As it turned out, our arrogant attempt to establish our own base inside the Chinese one came close to consigning us to a slow and lonely death.
We need to destroy 6 key buildings here on Elysium. Their locations will be forwarded to you. You know your orders, Lieutenant. Now get out there and kick some ass.
Get back to the drop zone, Lieutenant. I'm reading a lot of Chinese activity there.
Scrub that order, Lieutenant. The recycler has been captured by the Chinese. Pull back.
Command once again thought they could take back control of the portal. With most of our troops on Elysium, they probably could have done it. But no one could have predicted the next Chinese ploy. Command's decision to wait before trying to regain control of the portal nearly got us all killed.
Try to recapture the recycler. You have no hope without it. We're trying to arrange backup from Ganymede to bust you out of there, but the Chinese have control of the portal. I'll keep you posted.
We are taking grave casualties and require immediate assistance. Withdraw from Elysium immediately and destroy Pegasus as you leave.
Orders received and understood, comrade. Initiate standing order Lima Romeo 7.
Destruct sequence initiated.
Get to the portal, Lieutenant. You have to stop them from destroying it. And our scans are showing Chinese bombs incoming on your area. Get out of there!
Lost. Jesus, we're trapped!
While we were stranded on Elysium, the remaining Americans on Ganymede found themselves alone, with no way of getting reinforcements or retreating. Thanks to the valor of a very few brave men, we were able to return and give them support. But if it wasn't for a lone sergeant, we would have been stranded for eternity in a dead paradise.
Sergeant, we have to get the rest of the Black Dogs back. Commander Harris is trapped out there, along with most of our forces. If our engineers don't succeed in building a new portal, we're done for. And they've put up a shield around themselves, but it won't last long. Sergeant, protect those men at all costs.
The Chinese could not recover without scrap, but they quickly began to collect more and more. If we didn't prevent them from taking enough, they'd soon have a working portal again. They'd be able to reinforce themselves directly from Earth. We had to stop their collection, or we'd be doomed.
No scrap
Here's the
on
order
radar.
of the day, Lieutenant. The Chinese are trying to collect scrap to build a new Pegasus, which we guessed they would use to get reinforcements directly from Earth. Needless to say, this cannot be allowed to happen. You must seize their supply silos. Be careful, though. The Chinese scavengers will be under heavy escort, and any scrap fields will be guarded or mined. You have a construction rig to commandeer the supplies.
At first we thought the Chinese would have no way of rebuilding a Pegasus device, but Command soon heard of a shipment of biometal on its way to a Chinese base. They feared it would be the key to Chinese reinforcements. We had no option but to count on the worst-case scenario and destroy the Chinese base and the shipment.
Lieutenant, to the south of you is the last Chinese base on Ganymede, capable of constructing a new porthole. At the moment, they do not have the necessary resources, but we can't afford to take any chances. You are to assemble an assault team and take out that base. A word of caution, though. The enemy has mined the area around the base heavily, and there are numerous gun towers in operation. Be sure you have a sufficient force assembled. We cannot afford to lose this one. Harris out. That was the last Chinese recycler on Ganymede. Now we just have to wait for the rest of them to surrender.
Command was wrong again. They had assumed that the Chinese, battered and undermanned, would surrender. But they had one more card up their sleeve. Planning for every scenario, they had hidden a transport in a remote part of Ganymede, and they were heading straight for it. They were hoping to escape the Jovian system and take word back to China. We had to destroy every tank attempting to reach the transport, and then the transport itself. It wasn't going to be an easy target. We had no choice but to risk an all-out assault on the largest piece of military hardware in the solar system.
There are Chinese units heading for the transport from all directions. We'll let you know as they come within range.
15 seconds to zero time. 14, 13, 12,